The first time she saw him was in a dream. Not the kind that disappears upon waking, but the kind that remains, imprinted in her soul like a memory that doesn't want to be forgotten. The air was scented with jasmine, and the sky was colored in shades of amber and rose, as if the world itself were holding its breath. He stood under an ancient oak tree, his silhouette framed by the golden light of the setting sun. His face was hidden, but she could feel his presence, his essence, like a melody she'd known all her life. When she reached for him, he turned away, and she woke with surprise. Her heart was pounding, her cheeks wet with tears she couldn't explain. For weeks, this dream haunted her. Catherine, an artist in her early 30s, couldn't shake the feeling that she had lost something or someone very important to her. She began to paint him, not from memory, but from the echoes of his presence in her heart. The canvas filled with broad strokes of color, the oak tree, the golden light, the shadowy figure that seemed so familiar and yet so distant. Her friends teased her, saying she had finally found her muse, but Catherine knew it was more than that. It wasn't inspiration, it was recognition. One rainy afternoon, wandering through an art gallery, she saw him. Not in a painting, but in the flesh. He was standing in front of a landscape with his hands clasped behind his back, his posture relaxed but commanding. It took her breath away. It was him, the man from her dreams. His face was exactly as she'd envisioned it, a strong jawline, dark eyes that seemed to contain the weight of the world, and a faint scar above his left eyebrow. She froze, heart pounding frantically, as if her body had recognized him before her mind could pick up on it. He turned, and their eyes met. For a moment, the world stopped. Then he smiled, a polite, detached smile, and walked away. Catherine felt as if the ground had gone from under her feet. She followed him, her footsteps echoing in the silent gallery, until she found him standing beside a woman. She was beautiful, with brown hair and a warm, inviting smile. The man placed his hand on her back, and Catherine felt something she couldn't put a name to. Jealousy, longing, grief. She learned that his name was Robert and the woman was his wife, Claire. They had been married for 5 years, and it was clear from the way they looked at each other that they were deeply in love. Catherine tried to forget him, to convince herself that these dreams are nothing more than a figment of her imagination. But every night she found herself under the oak tree again and saw that stranger. As the months passed, Catherine immersed herself in her work, creating a series of paintings inspired by her dreams. They were raw, emotional, and deeply personal, conveying the pain of a love that seemed both eternal and unattainable. Her exhibitions became a sensation, and soon Daniel and Claire attended one of her shows. Catherine watched from afar as they walked through the gallery and stopped in front of a painting of an oak tree. The expression on Daniel's face was unreadable, but Claire's eyes filled with tears. "It's beautiful," she whispered, touching his hand. "It feels like a home." Catherine's heart beat even faster with excitement and sadness. One evening, as she was closing the gallery, Daniel appeared. He looked tired. "I need to talk to you," he said in a low voice. They invited her into a quiet cafe. Unspoken words hung in the air. Daniel confessed that the first time he saw her, he dreamed of her constantly. He described the oak tree, the golden light, the feeling of being drawn to something or someone he couldn't explain. "I thought I was going crazy," he admitted, running his hand through his hair. "But then I saw your paintings and I realized, it's you. It's always been you." Catherine's heart wanted to jump out of her chest. "But you're married," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You love her." "I love her," he said, his eyes full of misery. "But I feel like I loved you in another life. Like we were supposed to find each other, but the timing wasn't right. Always the wrong one." They parted that night, both realizing that nothing would come of their connection. Daniel went back to Claire, and Catherine tried to move on with her life. But the dreams kept coming, even more vivid than before, as if their souls refused to let go of each other. Years later, Catherine received a letter. Claire had passed away after a long illness. The letter was from Daniel, asking if he could see her. When they met, he looked older, gray streaking through his hair, but his eyes were the same, deep, soulful, and filled with a love that was timeless. "I couldn't forget you," he said. Catherine hesitated. Her heart raced, not with sorrow, but with joy. She'd built a life for herself that didn't include him. But when she looked into his eyes, she realized that her love for him was too strong to ignore. They had found each other in this life, against all odds, and she didn't want to let him go again. Their love was strong, not because it was unexpected and confusing, but because it was real. As they stood under the oak tree, the golden light of the setting sun bathing them in its glow, Catherine finally felt peace. This was a love that had existed in another life, and would exist in this one.